In this video, I'll be teaching you how to add integers using a number line version, shortcut 1 version, or shortcut 2 version. So let's go ahead and start in IXL.com. This is a great place to practice your skills. In IXL, I'm going to go down to the 7th grade math skills. There are a ton of skills to choose from. Category B deals with understanding integers. Category C deals with how to actually add, subtract, multiply, or divide integers. I'm looking for adding specifically, so I'm going to look at C4. C4 is the stripped down version. It doesn't give you any extra notes about how to do anything. It's just basic adding or subtract, or adding a positive and a negative, or a positive and a positive, or a negative and a negative. So let's look at these problems. We're going to go over 2 of them here in IXL. I'm actually not going to teach you how to do this yet. Let's see what you do. -5 plus 3. On the right over here in this empty space, I'm going to write 4 common answers that people might think the answer is. Let's see which one you got. Which one did you get? The answer should be -2. Again, don't worry. I'll go over an explanation here in a moment after the next problem is over. So let's go ahead and type in -2 and move on. Here's the next problem. What do you think the answer is? And over here to the right, I'll go ahead and start writing some numbers that are some common answers. Which one of these did you get? The answer should be 1. Now let's go ahead and talk about the explanation. 5 plus -4. Let's go over to my notes. Here in Google Draw, I made some notes to help out. Let's look at the number line. For the first 2 problems, we're going to look at a number line version of how to do this. Actually, let's look at 3. So I'm going to write a 3 over here so we know how many problems we have left for the number line version before we move up here to the shortcut version number 1 and the shortcut version number 2. So let's look at the same problem, 5 plus -4. If you're doing the number line version, then the first number that you see in the expression is your starting place. So start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where we're starting, 5. So since we start here, the next thing we do is add -4. As you can see on this number line, to the right, we're going in a positive direction. To the left, we're going in a negative direction. It says to start at 5 and then add -4. If we're adding negative, are we going right to the positive direction or are we going negative to the left direction? Well, because it's negative, we'll be going in the negative direction. So make sure that we're going left. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I end up right here at the answer of 1. This is how you do the number line version. Let's go ahead and erase all of that and try another one. We have 2 problems left for the number line version. Let's do something like -7 plus 6 and see what we get here. Don't forget, we're starting at the first number, -7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -7. These are negatives. Here's where I'm starting. We're going 6, but it's positive. So we'll be going to the right positive or left negative. Well, because it's positive, of course we're going to go to the right. So we're going to go to the right 6 from our starting point. Here's our starting point. Now let's go to the right 6. So there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I end up here at -1. So my answer is -1. Let's do one more. Let's say it's something like -2 plus -3. Again, don't forget, starting point. So let's start here at -2. going to draw a little dot here. Plus -3. Well, if it's -3, are we going in the positive direction or in the negative direction? Well, it's negative, so in the negative direction. Starting at -2, I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, and see where I end up, which is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my answer to -2 plus -3 is -5. That's the number line version. If you enjoy the number line version, you can keep watching this video over and over. Just go ahead and replay it, go back, rewind, watch it again, and try some problems yourself. Let's move on to the shortcut version number 1. In shortcut version number 1, it asks, first of all, are we dealing with opposite signs? Let's do a problem like -2 plus 5. When I say opposite signs, I mean, is one of them positive and negative, or is one of them negative and positive? That's what opposite signs are. If they were the same sign, we would deal with this side, where both of them were positive, or both of them were negative. We have a -2 plus a 5. If it said -2 plus -5, we would deal with a -2 and -5. That would be here, negative, negative, which is not the case here. If it was 2 plus 5, it'd be +2 and +5, which would be this case, but it's not either one of those. So that we know that we're dealing with shortcut number 1. One of them's negative, one of them's positive. So let's see what it says for us to do. When adding numbers with opposite signs, which is the case here, it says subtract them instead. So even though it says add in the middle, this shortcut's telling us because they're different signs, we're actually going to subtract instead of add. So let's subtract 5 minus 2. We get an answer of 3. Now at the end it says, when you're done subtracting them, keep the sign of the bigger number. Well, the bigger number was 5, and it was positive, so the answer at the end is going to be positive. And that's how you do shortcut number 1. Let's look at 2 more problems that deal with shortcut number 1. Let's do 3 plus -7. This 3 is positive, this 7 is negative. So I have positive, negative. So it checks, so we can use shortcut number 1. That means we have to subtract them. I have a 7 and a 3, so let's subtract 7 and 3. We get 4. Now, when you're done subtracting them, keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is 7. Its sign is negative, so we're going to keep negative as our answer. Let's try one more. Let's do -9 plus 12. One of them is negative, one of them is positive. So I have a negative, positive. So it checks. I can use shortcut 1. So I'm going to subtract them. 12 and 9. 12 minus 9 is 3. When you're done subtracting, keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is 12, and it was positive, so our answer at the end is positive. That's shortcut number 1. Let's go ahead and look at shortcut number 2. Let's do 3 problems. -2 plus -5. One of them is negative, and the other one's negative, so I have negative, negative. So it checks. I can use shortcut number 2, dealing with the same signs. In this case, it actually does let me add them. So it says add, and I will add. 2 and 5 gets me 7. Next step says, when you're done adding, keep the sign they had from the beginning. The signs they both had from the beginning were negatives, so my final answer will also be negative. Let's look at 2 more. How about -6 plus -4? I have a negative and a negative. Check. That means I can add them. I have 6 and 4. They add to be 10. When you're done, keep the sign they had from the beginning. Well, they both had negatives from the beginning, so the answer is negative at the end. -10. Last one. Let's do 2 plus 6. That should be pretty obvious. One's positive, the other is positive, so check. There's nothing tricky here. I add them together. This is a normal problem, 6 and 2. You get 8. keep the sign they had from the beginning. The signs they had from the beginning was positive, so my answer at the end is also positive. If you need to rewatch this video at all to see the number line version, shortcut number 1 version, or the shortcut number 2 version on how to add integers, go ahead and rewatch this video and then try problems yourself in IXL 7C4.